bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.
So first of all, I'd like to welcome Bo Horvat to Behind the Gear. And Bo, we've had an opportunity to know each other for quite a while. And basically what we do is kind of just chat and try to help young kids that are playing and kind of going through the process that you went through. And a lot of times it's hard for young players to see you at the age you're at and where you're playing and be like, how do you get from a 10-year-old boy to that spot, you know?
Yeah,
and I'm sure you've had a lot of conversations with young kids or cousins and things, and you know, stick with it, keep working hard. But I know there's a lot more that goes to it than just working hard, right?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, you have parents that are willing to do it for you, and mine were. I was fortunate enough to have great mom and dad that took me all to all the rinks, early mornings, power skating lessons. I mean, everything to get me to the next level. And but that's something that I wanted to do. Like, they weren't forcing me to go to power skating or forcing me to do all that kind of stuff. So for me to kind of to get to the next level, that's all I wanted to do ever since I was 2 years old. I could remember my grandma telling me that all I want to do is play in the NHL. So I mean, for them to know that I was passionate about it, and that made them want to do it even more. And
definitely opened up a lot of doors for you, right? Like, I know we'll get into a little bit of the crux of kind of how Bo Horvat became Bo Horvat as an NHL player, but there's a lot of things that your parents sacrificed, obviously, to allow that to happen. But when you have a young boy that has that dream and that passion, every kid at 3-4 wants to play in the NHL.
For sure.
How do you do it? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's hard, right?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, there's a lot of things that fall into place, let alone just natural ability and being big and strong. But the one thing and we'll get into this a little bit more in detail, but you were always a very, very good player, but you definitely had holes in your game, in Pee Wee and Bantam and Midget and even in junior, you had areas of your game. And I remember, we've known each other for a while now, but having areas where you're like, man, what do I do? Like, they want me to do this. How do I? Well, you do it. Yeah. You just figure it out. Exactly. And you've done a good job over your career of figuring it out, Yeah. And if we go back, so I mean, you're obviously a farm boy from just outside London and kind of right in that Rodney area, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if someone said,
Rodney,
Bo,
Ontario.
Where are you from exactly? What would you tell them?
I would say Rodney, Ontario.
Rodney?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way. I'd say London, Chatham, or anything like that. I think the people of Rodney, all 900 of them, would be pretty pissed if I said that. But like you said, there was holes in my game. There was stuff that I had to keep working on, especially my skating. I always worked on my hands and stuff like that in the basement and shooting pucks. And
that's the fun stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody wants to work on your skating because it sucks. But I knew that's something I had to get faster. I knew I had to get better at that. And that's when I got in touch with you and kind of took off from there. Just trying to get that extra gear, the first 3 steps. I know in every drill that we ran, basically in practice that you would start, I'd want to work on my first 3 steps. I would always have to start a drill doing my quick feet, no matter how much it sucked and how much I was gassed after the first friggin' rep. But to have that in the back of my mind, that I had to keep getting faster and keep working on that. I knew I had to keep doing it. So it's definitely one of the reasons why I'm where I am today. Yeah, well, and I think it's also the work ethic. I mean, I remember going through that stuff with you, but I remember going out and watching nights practice or even having skates here with a bunch of guys, and you'd be starting simple drills where you didn't have to go hard. It was go half speed, work on this, and you'd always start in a quick start. And it wasn't. I don't think it was me telling you, hey, you got to go quick start every time, or Mark or Dale Hunter being on you. It was just something in your head that you knew that was an area of your game you had to get better at. Mm-hmm. And you hammered it and hammered it and hammered it and hammered it. And now you look at, you're a big boy, big body, but you move well, though. And, it's funny because the big knock on you going to the NHL was, I don't know if he'll be able to play. Like, I don't know if his speed's going to be good enough. I don't know if he'll last in the NHL because of his speed. And then fast forward a year later, you're in the AllStar game, in the AllStar weekend as, going as, in the fastest skater event, which is phenomenal. But I often tell young players that exact story about you, and everyone knows who you are in this area. So right away, it clicks with them. But I tell them he started. I'm not joking. And when we say every drill, I'm gonna say probably 90% of the drills you did were started with 95%. quick
with
starts.
heels coming up a
Heels
bit,
coming
quick
up,
starts,
yeah.
even if it was half speed.
Even
just,
if it was ugly as hell, it was a quick start. So
yeah,
yeah, no, that's no doubt. I think too, yeah, like it was my biggest knock was my skating. It was, like even John Tortorella was, my first camp came into just pulled me in the laundry room. He's like, "Bo, we're sending you home." I'm just kind of taken back. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like I was coming into the rink. Yeah, there was like 2 days left, before the opening day roster, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like,
yeah,
I thought I was this close, and he's just like, "It's all about pace for me. Like you have to get faster. The NHL is another level, and we're gonna send you back to junior." And I'm just like shit. Like I got to get even faster to be in the NHL. So, but I think the main thing for me, obviously, I went back, kept working on my skating, but just playing the game, playing at that high level is how I got faster. Is how I reached that next level. If you don't, play at that high level and you don't, know, it's either you get faster or you get left behind.
Yeah.
So you have no choice. Like if you're gonna, get away from a guy on a breakaway or even in the corner, quick tight turn, you had to, or else you're gonna get caught. So I think that was the biggest thing for me.
yeah.
And what helped me get to that next level.
No, that's good, man. That's and I think you're right. Like there are a lot of players that get left behind, and you can see why. Even some of these young guys that are 19, 20, 21, there's no reason why they can't get a little bit faster, but some of them don't want to.
Exactly.
They're not putting the time in, the work ethic. They're not doing the little things that they need to do in order to get that
Sure.
pace, right?
And even the older guys too.
For sure.
The older guys in the league, they've been in the league forever, and it's getting so fast now that they're like, holy shit, like I need to actually work on my skating.
Yeah.
Like I need to get faster. So, the league's changing. And, everybody's getting faster. Everybody's getting quicker, east-west. Guys are smaller, harder to hit.
Yeah.
They're so quick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many examples in the NHL where you need speed to play.
Yeah, no, for sure. If we kind of rewind, like, what was the start for you? I know your dad was a big hockey guy. Your family's obviously a huge hockey family. I think from your great grandparents to your grandparents to your parents to your uncles, and everyone was involved in hockey. So at a young age, I'm assuming you got exposed to hockey and skates and sticks and things like that. And
yeah, I think the first time I was on the ice was like a year old or something. Like
really?
That. My dad had me out there.
As soon as you could walk.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, I was walking early, so my dad had me in skates basically as soon as I could. No, my dad's a really passionate guy.
Yeah.
As you know.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's great.
He still tries to tell me how to play the game, even though I'm at the highest level you can play. He's still right. He still knows everything. So you got to respect that. But he came from a hockey family. My grandpa never learned how to skate, never played hockey.
No way.
Coach from the bench, even when Bret practices from the bench.
Really?
Oh yeah. Didn't never stepped on the ice, but knew a lot about the game, loved the game, and that's how my dad and my Uncle Ron got into it and played junior B, and Dad played a little bit with the Knights and over in Europe a little bit, and then my grandpa says it's because of my mom that my dad never.
Well, hey, they're still together,
exactly.
so it's all right.
You can't fight love.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but no. As soon as I was born, my dad wanted to get me into hockey, and I just fell in love with the game ever since. Taking me to. Again, power skating, London Knights games. Always went to London Knights games after. I was a huge London Knight fan. He had season tickets, so
cool.
Took me to a lot of the games. So that was kind of like my NHL. Like I never really went to the league. I went to a couple of Leafs games and whatever, but when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, it was always London Knight games. So for him to take me and that's kind of how I fell in love with the game.
Oh, that's awesome. And you saw some pretty good years in the 05 before you got there, but
Perry, Bolin,
right.
Servette, Prust. There's so many great names. Gagne, Kane, all those guys, right? So that was pretty cool.
No, that's really cool. And kind of jumping around a little bit, but how cool is it to play against some of these guys that you were watching in the OHL or watching at the Memorial Cups and stuff? You're like, wow, like.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I always idolized Brad Richards.
Yeah.
Mike Richards.
Yeah.
I played Philly and LA and won a couple cups. I think it was one exhibition game he was playing in LA, and I just went up in the face-off. I said, "You used to watch you all the time in junior. You play with my guy I knew really well, Justin Azevedo."
Yeah.
And he kind of laughed and just congratulated me on being there, and we kind of had a laugh about it, but just to kind of be there. And,
that's cool. Yeah.
And even like playing against Sid, for the first time, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, probably in awe a little bit, right?
Sidney Crosby across there at warm-ups, right? It's a pretty cool experience. There's so many players. Jonathan Toews I idolized too. I got to meet him a little bit at the AllStar game
Yeah.
and talk to him a little bit. And, he still says, talks to me on the ice every once in a while. So having, the interaction with guys was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, it's really cool. And then where did you play most of your minor hockey? So you obviously played in Rodney. I'm assuming you're IP and novice and all that stuff. And then once you got into kind of that opportunity to play travel hockey, so that AA, AAA, did you go right into AAA, or did you kind of play? Did you stick local, or what'd you do?
No, I played West Lorne minor hockey, so it's like
Yeah.
5 minutes outside of Rodney. And then I played all the way up until I think it was minor Adam.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Elgin Chiefs.
Yeah.
Played a couple years there. And then I had the opportunity to go to Toronto and play with the Toronto Red Wings in the GTHL for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I jumped to AAA right away, and then kind of made my way around there. I moved away from home when I was 12.
Yeah.
12 and 13.
So those were your 2 Pee Wee years, correct?
Yeah, so those were my 2 Pee Wee. I think it was minor Pee Wee, major Pee Wee. Came back from major Bantam, or minor Bantam, major Bantam. And sorry, it was major Pee Wee and then minor Bantam.
Okay.
Yeah. So I moved away from when I was 12, 13 years old. Living in a different city, big city.
It's crazy.
Well,
going from
mom and dad.
Rodney.
Exactly, Rodney,
and
900
Elgin.
people, exactly, downtown Toronto.
It's crazy.
A little bit of a change, but
Yeah.
I think it grew me as a person, it grew me as a player. Met a ton of new people. I don't regret that decision at all.
Yeah.
I know my parents took a lot of heat for that.
For sure.
Giving away their 12-year-old
Yeah.
to go play hockey, but again, I wanted to do it. And I remember driving to Toronto and
How hard was that first drive, though?
First drive to Toronto, we stopped in Kitchener. I remember clear as day. We stopped at the service center in Kitchener, and I just started crying. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm moving away from home at 12 years old
That's crazy. Yeah.
just to go play hockey, and it was tough. And my parents, said, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Like, we're not forcing you to do it. And I went to the washroom. I came back, and I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna go. It'd be like a sleepover every night, and just go and have fun with it. And I think it changed I think it changed my life, really. It made me know that I can move away from home. It matured me as a kid, and I think I'm not recommending send your kids away, but at that time it was great for me to even build my brand. I guess you could say at that young age, getting contact with different guys from Toronto and getting my name out there and stuff. But
for sure,
it was great for me.
Now, I guess looking back on it too, I mean, do you think that by moving to Toronto, do you think that the style, the pace, the whole overall quality of hockey was way better than what you would have seen in Elgin, or was it pretty close?
It was pretty close.
Okay.
No, I think it was maybe a little better at that time. I think
just more kids, probably more better kids, right? But yeah.
And I think there was a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't like 2 teams that lit it up
every
single year. It was kind of changed, throughout the.
But you've always got like 4 or 5 strong teams or more in Toronto, whereas in Alliance you got 3, 2, 3.
Exactly. So like it was. I think it was a little bit more competition, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It changed me, and I think it grew my game. It made me a better player.
And do you think a lot of that has to do with, maybe not necessarily, because basically what I'm getting at is, because you just said, like, I don't recommend maybe sending your kids to Toronto, but at the end of the day, you were a real high-end kid in Pee Wee. So you were, and I'm sure Toronto came calling. Like, we'd love to have you on our team, right? Absolutely. So there's opportunities that came up that way. But do you think making that move was a better move for you, basically character-wise, personality-wise, being more independent, being exposed to stuff that a 12-year-old normally would not get exposed to, like your parents sheltering you, like, buddy, you're going to the big smoke and you're gonna sink or swim in this big city, right?
For sure.
And I think it's funny. I had a conversation with your dad earlier this summer, who I want to have on the podcast because he's a beauty and it'd be great.
Honestly,
he's all in too.
He'd get a lot of views.
Yeah, no, we'll get him in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he brought up some really good points that I never thought of, because a lot of times when parents come to me and say, "Hey, we're gonna go to Toronto," I'm one of the first guys to say, "Man, like, you're bringing your son to this place where they don't really care about Bo Horvat or John Smith. They want a good player."
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
I'm sure you met some real good people and live with some great families, and I'm not saying there's not good people in Toronto, but it's one of those things where they're trying to build teams. And, I think in Elgin and London, when you've been there a bunch of times, they're trying to build kids and character and all that stuff. But, your dad brought up a good point. I was like, man, I never thought about it. You just said the same thing. Like by moving there, man, that you matured way quicker. You had opportunities to do things that maybe you wouldn't have ever had an opportunity to do in Rodney. You saw a whole different part of the world where I'm sure you're like, probably never going to move back to Rodney for the rest of my life. You know, like maybe I will down the road or like, you know, but there's so much more out here than just Rodney or just Elgin,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, when you look at, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the jokes about Bo Horvat in the NHL is like, he's about 35 years old and really he's like 20, you know what I mean?
No, yeah,
like
for
mature
sure.
and just not into a lot of the stuff, just wants to play.
Exactly,
Just, you know, and I'm going to assume a lot of that has to do with just, you've already, you know, you've kind of gone a different route than some of the other players and just matured a lot along the way, you know?
Yeah, for sure. No, I get called no man all the time. I'm only 23 years old. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, guys pick what they want to do and choose different paths and stuff like that. And mine, you know, I just love the game of hockey. I love playing it. I love family. You know, my friends are my family.
Yeah.
It's the way it has been all my whole life. You know, from moving around and, you know, living out in the country and stuff like that. All my family lives around me, so you know my cousins are my best friends, and my brother's my best friend, and you know, obviously, you know, I have a girlfriend now, and you know, I've been dating her for a while, and you know, we just kind of like to hang out. I mean, it's just you know, I'm not you know, into the whole, you know, bar scene and kind of going out, and I obviously love to have fun. I pick my moments, but you know, for me, hanging out with family, hanging out in the country and hanging by the beach and stuff like that, that's kind of my style. Yeah. And obviously trying to get better and playing the game that I love.
No, it's awesome, man. And and I mean, your girlfriend's great, and you guys kind of really complement each other a lot. I think she seems very mellow and you know,
for sure,
and understands what you're doing. And I think on the same side, you know, you understand what she does.
Absolutely.
And support that
no,
too.
We got a good system going on. So that's good,
yeah, there you go. Everything comes back to hockey, right? Just good system. Yeah,
for sure.
No, it's good. And then, so once you kind of wrapped up in Elgin, obviously the OHL draft came up. And how hectic was that minor midget year? I mean, Bantam and Pee Wee's good and fun and a little bit of pressure, but how was that minor midget year for you? And I mean, as coming back to Elgin, playing major Bantam, having a good year, your 95 team in that minor midget team, kind of loaded up a little bit, had a couple kids from London that squeezed over there. So you guys had a good team. What was that year like as far as just having scouts in the stands and agents and all that kind of stuff
it's crazy.
Mulling around, It's
crazy. Yeah, no, I mean, my agent picked me up when I was 14 years old, you know. It's crazy how young they start and how young your career, I mean, starts. And, you know, my 15-year-old year, my minor midget year it was a little nerve-wracking, not going to lie, but it was exciting. I was excited because my goal at first, like I always said, even when I was younger, like, you know, 8, 9, 10 years old, my goal is, like, it wasn't to make it to the NHL yet. It was to make it to the OHL. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play in the OHL. And, you know, I was one step closer. This is my year to really prove myself. And, you know, I never looked too far ahead where, you know, it's got to be NHL. I wanted to make it first to the OHL. I knew that was the first step. So it was a hectic year. You know, fortunately, we had a good team and a lot of great players that helped me out and built my game. But yeah, no, it was a little crazy. It's a little nerve wracking when you see your first scout in the stands, and you know, you're obviously he talked to my dad every once in a while, and you know, my dad would tell him what he said and what I had to work on and stuff like that. And now just knowing every game that, you know, somebody's there going to be watching you, it's a little scary. It's obviously it's a little nerve wracking, but at the same time, it's exciting. You know, you want to. It pushes you to, you know, to have that pressure on you and to perform at that certain level, right? You know, you have to do something special every single night for you to get noticed. You're going to get passed over. So I think to have that extra pressure on me and to have, you know, people watching you and you know, push yourself to be better. You know, it definitely, you know, it's where it separates, you know, the really good kids from the just average kids.
For sure.
Think, you know, if you can, you know, push through that and be that exceptional player, I mean, obviously people are going to notice. The real hockey people are going to notice.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So, you know, end of the season comes, draft comes up in April or whatever it is, right? Did you know, or did you have an idea kind of what was going to happen? I mean, obviously you're going to be a potential first rounder, which we've seen it over the years. Like, that's great, but there's no guarantees until that name's called, right? And did you kind of have an idea of a couple of teams that were really interested in kind of where you would sit in the draft, or was it kind of a crapshoot going into it?
It was a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Both drafts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's a little bit of a shit show, but no,
Now,
was,
wait. How was Timmy draft morning? How was like OHL draft morning? When you
fun.
got drafted, it was all computer, right?
Oh yeah, it was all computer. It was
So you flip the laptop up at like 8 o'clock, starts at 9,
yeah.
and then just
Exactly,
hit refresh
yeah,
every 25, 30
much.
seconds.
Obviously,
Right?
I can't I remember the NHL draft a little bit more than I do the OHL draft. We were all sitting. I don't know how many friends and family over.
Yeah.
At our place, and we're all sitting around. Listening to 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's probably the most pressure you had all year.
Exactly.
Right?
You got all these people here. You're like, oh god, I hope I get drafted. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm sure Timmy didn't sleep that night, and there's no question he got maybe an hour of sleep. But we weren't sure where I was going to go. We knew a lot of teams did like me. Sudbury really liked me. I forget who else. There's a couple other teams.
For sure.
Kingston, Belleville liked me at 5. Like,
Yeah.
you just never know. Like, you got teams, you interview with teams, and they say they like you.
Yeah.
They're not sure, but obviously they like 3 or 4 other kids.
Yeah.
So you never know what's going to happen. It went to 8, and Kingston was picking, and I was like, Dad, this, like, he looked at me and was like, this could be it. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
Because Kingston liked me, and then all of a sudden they took Max Domi.
That's
and
right.
Like, shit, I'm going to London. Like,
Yeah.
We had a pretty good idea as soon
Yeah.
as number 9 hit, and London was picking there, and they were picking, and sure enough, Mark Guy, my agent, called me in Newport and said he hung on the phone with me while they announced
No
it.
way,
And then
cool.
everybody went nuts at home, and
Awesome.
my mom was crying because I was gonna be so close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Timmy was a little worried at first because with Mark and Dale, they want to kind of ease their young guys into it, and they usually don't play their rookies very often, and he was like, like,
Yeah.
a lot of guys, top 10 picks, they get really good opportunity,
For
and
sure.
they get lots of ice time, and and all of a sudden, London takes us at 9, and we knew, from years of watching them that, they never really played their rookies.
Yeah.
And, but everything worked out in the end.
Yeah.
I played wing my first year. Obviously, it was a little bit of a struggle and at the beginning, and then I kind of found my stride, and, we went all the way to the Memorial Cup final. We had a great, really good team.
Yeah, that was your first year.
First
You
year.
went 3 or 2 years there, right?
Yeah, 3.
3 years, that's
3
right.
years in a row in the
That's
Memorial Cup.
crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. 0 for 3. Not to brag. But no, it was crazy. We had a great team, so obviously didn't get a ton of ice, which was hard. It was hard for me.
Yeah.
Seeing different players get different ice times and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it was it's funny because now that fourth line that went to the Memorial Cup and all year,
Because they're all playing in the NHL.
all playing in the NHL,
And,
and
like,
I think we
playing-
might be the only, or maybe like there's 2 or 3, maybe 2 other people that are actually playing in the NHL. All the rest
It's
are on the
crazy.
fourth line.
That's crazy.
That actually play in the NHL
Yeah.
for like full time.
Yeah.
Which is
And
incredible.
are like impactful players because you have
Impactful.
Anderson, right?
Anderson, who's
Tierney.
top 2 lines.
Yeah.
Tierney's top 3 lines.
Yeah. And then yourself.
Myself, Athens,
Yeah.
playing top 2 lines
Yeah.
in Detroit. I mean, and he was healthy scratch
Yeah.
a ton of the year.
Yeah.
I was healthy scratched in the playoffs and in the Memorial Cup.
Right.
So I mean, Andy was Memorial Cup final scratch. I mean,
No way.
like it's just like it's crazy to think that all those guys that were on that fourth line are playing in the NHL
Yeah.
and impactful players. So I mean, you just never know.
Yeah.
And it's just I think that it grew us as players.
For sure.
I mean, it put not a lot of guys they go through that adversity, and we went through it, and it made us better players in the end. So then we went to the Memorial Cup the next year. I actually got back playing center.
Yeah.
Winning faceoffs and stuff like that, and had a good year. In the regular season, I think I put up maybe just under a point a game
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Your
nothing
playoffs were
exactly
dynamite.
The playoffs is where I
and
got,
that was your draft year
that was
too,
my
right?
draft
Yeah.
year.
So
like maybe like U18s and stuff before, and then we during the year I might have been late first round, early second round. Like
yeah.
you never would have known, but that year in the playoffs was where I kind of
Yeah.
made a name for myself.
Because you had a huge win to send you them, or the huge goal to send you the Memorial Cup with it was an OT or
No, it was
like a second
game,
left or something
Game 7 against Barrie
at home.
We were down 3-1 the series.
I was at that game. It was crazy.
Came back, won it in regulation. I scored with I think it was .1 or .2 seconds left.
That's crazy.
To
no big deal though, eh? No,
yeah,
like,
I don't
no
like to
big
brag
deal.
about it, but yeah, it was pretty big. Yeah. No, yeah, it was. I still poke fun at Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 0.1 seconds. Suck it,
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, but no, it was pretty cool to go to the Memorial Cup again, and I think it was in Saskatoon that year. Play against like McKinnon, and Seth Jones.
That's right.
You know, there were so many great players
Yeah.
in the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, we got pumped by Halifax in the one game. I think we lost like 10-1 or something
Yeah.
like that. But anyway, we'll get rid of that.
Yeah.
We'll erase that from the podcast. We didn't get beat 10-1, but no, it was a great year again. And then I ended up getting drafted again, number 9 overall.
Yeah.
So both drafts I was number 9.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. So
No, that's cool. And both drafts had a little bit of not controversy, but a little bit of like, let's screw Bo Horvat a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's what my dad said. Nothing goes easy for me
No,
around here.
but I mean, at the end of the day, let's like, you know what? And I remember seeing Timmy in the halls of Bud Gardens and just like him just doing like, what's going on? But when you look back on your process with the Knights, would you kind of agree, or you look at it now and be like, okay, I kind of understand the process a little bit better of like, now things have worked out really, really well for you. So had they not, maybe you look at it like, you know, F you. But at the same time, when you look at it, you kind of got your licks, paid your dues.
For sure.
Probably played better on both sides of the puck, defensively, offensively. Because the one thing with Markendale, like, and the whole Knights staff, and you know, they get knocked a little bit for they always load up. But they do work hard as a coaching staff. They do tons of videos, stay on the ice late. Like they do a lot of stuff to help the young guys. But they also do have a bit of a process for certain young guys. And I think with you kind of being behind the scenes with the Knights a little bit, you know, you were an easy guy to whip on because you could whip you and you keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Where certain guys you couldn't whip because you knew they just shatter, right?
God,
And you would take it and build it, and you'd almost get better, you know. So
nice.
and they're old school, and you're kind of raised a bit old school. So for them, I think it was almost a backhanded compliment that they could you know bury you a bit and you'd rise, you know.
Exactly. I think I have to give a lot of credit to Markendale because they made me the player I am today. Honest to God. They taught me how to play on both sides of the puck. Dylan taught me a ton about face-offs
for sure.
and how to be a great centerman. And, kudos to him for doing that. But they definitely grew me into the player I am today, no question. Being that responsible two-way player, that they knew that a player like me, that can play on both ends of the puck is going to make it to the NHL a lot quicker than somebody who can't. And they were right. I mean, they, as soon as I turned into that complete player and that two-way guy that did everything for them, win face-offs and kill penalties and score goals and do all that kind of stuff. They knew that I wouldn't be in the OHL for long. And at first you're like, I don't want to play defense. I just want to go and play offense, right? But looking back now, you're glad that you went through that whole process and them being hard on you. And for me, I have that type of body that you have to watch what you eat. And
they weren't
on me. No. I honest to God, Mark was on me every day. He would ask me what my weight was every day, and it was just like, oh my God, you got down to the weight or you got in shit from Mark. So I mean, you have no choice.
So this is a couple years after you left already, but I was in the coach's room getting changed, like just taking my shirt off to go on the ice with the guys doing some skill stuff. Mark's in there, looks at me, he's like, Blazer, you put on a couple, eh? Like, dude, I don't play for you, man. Like, it's hilarious though.
I know. His excuse would be like, what if the kid saw you?
Yeah.
That's right. Acceptable?
Yeah.
No, it's not good enough. Not good enough.
It's funny though. I remember you coming to us. Mitch and I happened to be together, and came to us and like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, they want me to get down to 9% body fat. Like, man, and they're threatening my playing time if I don't get down. And like, what do I do? And I remember looking at me like, you get to 9%. Like, there's no other answer to this, right?
You don't eat like shit.
Just can't.
Yeah,
There's
you
no
either-
Timbits. No. Yeah.
exactly. So
But I remember, like, I mean, again, like talking about the work ethic on the quick starts and all this stuff, and I mean, you did it. You know, you can't, like, even
you
your
have
body
no
now.
choice. Yeah,
Like,
you have no choice.
Yeah, and even like you are, you know, you're a thick guy who's, you know, just a guy who's probably never gonna be walking around like with a perfect V body, but you've done a good job at maintaining what you got, and really, you know, like, which is awesome, man. I think again, going through that process, had you never been pushed because he's a first rounder, he's good, he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna get us 30 points into the Mem Cup, and like I'll just lay off him. Had they not have pushed you like that, maybe that's one part of your game that maybe we wouldn't have really focused on as much.
For
you know,
sure. And if I didn't go through that adversity and be, you know, like them pushing me and being hard on me and stuff like that, I might not be the player I am today.
Yeah.
So I mean, going through that adversity where, you know, the Max came in, and obviously he's a great player, and you know he's getting more ice and stuff like that. Obviously, it was tough to look back, and it was hard, but you know, it made me push even harder to be better. And you know, Max and I are great friends, great buddies, and we pushed each other, you know, to be better players. And obviously, you know, it speaks for itself. We went, I forget what number, we went 12 in the draft, and then all of a sudden, you know, I go to Vancouver and get, you know, traded straight up for, you know, the draft pick, which was me, Corey Schneider. So it's just like, you got all this pressure on you now to
be as good as Corey.
Be as good as Corey, and you know, all the fans are on you, and all the fans are tweeting this. Like, you should have got more, and you're seeing all this stuff, and you're like, I'm not even a goaltender. I don't know what to do. Like, I can't stop the puck. I have to score now, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it was definitely tough to hear. It was tough to be a part of that, but at the same time, it made me a better player.
For sure.
It made me who I am today. It you know, it pushed me to be better.
Yeah.
You know, you wanted to prove that they didn't make a mistake by just getting me, and no, I think it definitely helped me out in my career.
And I think, like, you know, Max getting traded to London, and all of a sudden, you know, you're the first round pick, and then, oh man, they got another guy who's a first round pick that's one pick before you, so he's one pick better than you. Yeah. Right? Kind of is what it seems like.
Yeah, for sure.
What you just said something there that's huge is you guys are totally different players and play the game very differently. Absolutely. You know, Max is high octane, high offense, and you know, if he's not producing, he's not playing. You know, he's gotten way better, but and very good player. And then you've developed into a guy who can score, very offensive, but also can play both sides of the puck. And when you guys were both clicking that second year, I mean, it was awesome.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know, like,
I mean, when he was going and I was going, and we were both scoring, and you know, it was hard to stop, but we went on a 24-game winning streak. Yeah. Like, it's, you know, it's tough to do, and we had obviously great players around us, you know, Tierney Anderson, who had massive years that year as well. Yeah. But and a great defensive. We had Ole Mata, Scott Harrington. Yeah, right. You know, all these guys that definitely helped that. But at the same time, you know, Max and I were pushing each other. We both wanted to get drafted. We both wanted to go far in the playoffs, and you know, we wanted to have great years. So I think pushing each other that way was massive for us.
No, it's all for sure. And then you get drafted, go to camp. What was your first NHL? Well, first of all, what was the draft like? I mean, going through that whole process of, you know, actually getting drafted to the NHL, which is basically your dream since you've been, you know, put skates on, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was great. I mean, obviously that was one of the highlights of my life so far, just getting drafted and having all my friends and family there, and I had a ton of people there, so it was great to have the support. We had a big party at the hotel after the draft. Yeah, but obviously, you know, getting traded for, you know, Corey Schneider and being, you know, number 9 pick was pretty special for me and my family, and you know, next stepping stone. And my dad's always famous for saying, "Now the real work begins." Like, I know, like, but no, he honestly, it was like, you get drafted to the OHL, it's now the real work begins. Now you got to you got to go. Then draft you, now you got to be even better. And then you get drafted, now you got to be even better to make the team. So I mean, it keeps going. Yeah. And now as soon as I made the team, it's just like, and now the real work begins to stay there. Right. It's like it doesn't end. So no, but the draft was great. It was in New York City. Yeah, cool. In New Jersey, we stayed in New York City, which was awesome. And then we go to my first camp, and it was with John Tortorella. Right. And I'm so
never met him before.
No, I never met him before.
Already scared.
I'm already scared of him. And no, I was just like a little rookie. Yeah. You know, 18 years old, going into camp, and it was the hardest camp I've ever done. Really, eh? By far. Like, you know, I'm not much of a runner. We had a 2-mile run. Really? It was terrible.
Yeah.
I was dead last, like just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it was just the skating tests and the practices and stuff like that. They were tough, and
Yeah.
like that's when it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh my god, like if this is what it takes to get in the NHL, this is unbelievably hard.
Yeah.
Like, I have to work that much harder in the off season and come back in that much greater shape to be at that level.
Yeah.
Because Hank and Danny won everything. Like
Really, eh?
swim-out run, like you name it. Honestly, all the skating tests, like it was insane.
And
you
they
see
kinda
these
did
guys, and they're
that-
like 35 years old, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm 18 years old. I can't even come close to you guys. Like that's how like great of shape these guys
That's
are in.
amazing. And they almost did that every year, right? Like they
So,
were
every single year.
That's so
Every
awesome.
single year.
Yeah.
So what you see that as a young guy, you're like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
I want to do that. And I think, going back that summer and after camp and back to junior, you're like this is what it takes to make to the NHL.
Yeah.
And that next year I worked my butt off, obviously.
So you came
Torts
back to
wasn't-
the O, right? After the
back
draft
to the
year,
O,
back to the O for a
I
year.
got sent down. Torts pulled me in the laundry room, said beat it. And I went back to OHL. He wasn't back there next year.
Yeah.
We had Willie Desjardins, and he was great to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, started out in the fourth line. I had a good camp. I passed all the fitness testing and did
Okay.
well at all. So then ended up making the team. I got hurt at the beginning of camp, and then I played my first. I think it's 9 games.
Yeah.
Scored and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that was obviously a great moment for me to score my
For
first
sure.
NHL goal. And then after my 9th game, they had to make the decision whether I stayed or went home. And Willie was showing video, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I just kind of going day by day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I going to go home? Am I going to
Now, are
stay?
you in a hotel at this point?
Yeah, I'm in a hotel for legit like 2 months. Like I was just
Yeah.
like eating out all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm probably getting fat for Mark. So I was hoping I wasn't getting sent back down. Because
Yeah,
Mark would
had
have
a
gave it to me.
field
But
day.
yeah, exactly. But he pulled me in, or was just showing video and showed a bad clip of me of doing something wrong, and then showed a clip of me going down and scoring. He's like, "Bo, what type of player are you going to be?" And I'm just like, "I'm going to be that clip." Like I didn't know what to say. Like, I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Well, then welcome to the NHL."
No
And
way.
It was
Cool. So
one of the
he's
coolest
he's the
experience.
one who told you that,
yeah,
right? Good.
yeah. So the head coach told me that in front
That's
of
awesome.
everybody, and first people to come shake my hand were Hank and Danny, just congratulating me. and
Awesome.
Everybody was pretty pumped, and yeah, that was my first year of
Cool.
fourth line.
Yeah.
Just grinding it out and just enjoying life playing in the NHL.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Probably just learning,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Every
I was
day just
soaking
taking it in,
everything
right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And, it was a pretty cool experience. Playing first year.
Yeah.
I was the only 19-year-old. Basically, me and another guy, Lyndon Vey, were the
Yeah.
only rookies, and he was like 24, getting
Right.
married. And
Right. Yeah.
so that was challenging,
For
right?
sure.
So you had to kind of make friends that were a lot older than you, kind
Yeah.
of mature even more. Like
Yeah.
you're just little 19-year-old with, some of these guys could be your dad. Like
Totally, man.
you're running around with their little kids after their game in
Yeah.
the dressing room playing floor hockey. So yeah, it was pretty crazy that way. But it definitely again grew my game, made me took baby steps a little bit.
Yeah.
It was on the power play, maybe the occasional PK, but just learning from other guys,
Yeah.
and learning from Hank and Danny, learning from learning how to be that two-way player.
Yeah.
And then my second year kind of got better and better, and now I'm kind of that everything guy that
For
can,
sure, yeah.
Play the power play and penalty kill, and I have a lot bigger role than I did my first year.
Yeah. No, well, for sure. And how different is it going back to camp the second year than the third year as
Oh,
like a
man.
bit, not a vet,
Like
but
established,
like,
yeah. Like you
yeah.
you have a good idea of what it takes and how it is. You still come into camp prepared to prove yourself because everybody's gunning for your job.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's a job. Like
Totally,
everybody
yeah.
wants it. Everybody wants to take your spot. So you got to be that much better to stay in the NHL, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a little more comforting though, knowing that you've already been there and
For sure.
you know the guys and
Yeah.
all that. So it was a little different going back into my second and third year, and
Yeah.
even my fourth year. It's just you keep getting more comfortable as camp's
Totally.
going.
And the nice thing too, with anything, even if it was a job at TD Bank, I mean, having even a contract extension is nice, right? Signing a new deal for you, I think, is that first milestone of getting out of your entry level. And then, okay, now I'm actually, like you said, I'm an established NHL player. I'm getting, paid pretty good money, which is great, like, amazing money for schmelz like myself. But I know, you know what I mean. Like but that kind of also I think adds that confidence. You're like, okay, they like me enough to keep me here for a longer term.
For sure.
Now you can kind of relax and breathe a little bit. You still want to push, but
for sure. And again, like now the real work begins.
Yeah,
like it
totally.
does, because like you sign for that big of money and you 6-year deal. Like they have a lot of faith in you, so you got to perform.
Totally.
Like you're not performing, you're letting your team down, you're letting your organization down, the ownership down. So I mean, you have to be that much better to prove that you are worth that amount of money, that you're going to be there for the next 6 years. You want to, establish yourself as a player. You want to get better as a player. You want the team to win. So it's it's a little bit different that way, but it definitely pushes you to be better again.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, at times too, the team, the family, the the organization can be a little bit forgiving, but sometimes the fans can't be that forgiving.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You have a couple bad games. Like, why are you paying this bomb?
Exactly. You're paying this schmuck, whatever amount of money to go out there and suck, right? So you're letting your fans down too.
For sure.
If you're out there just
totally
being an idiot or not playing well. So you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the fans, your your friends, your family, and even the organization, right? So
for sure.
You got to perform every night.
No, it's good, man. Well, listen, I appreciate it. I'm gonna give you a couple quick little things to wrap up, and then we'll shut it down. But if you had to talk to yourself at 10 years old, so let's say you saw yourself at 10, hockey player, going on the ice, what are a couple things that you'd tell him? He wants to play in the NHL. He's 10, 12. What are a couple things that you would say? Listen, this is really important. It could be skill set, it could be attitude, could be whatever, but things that you look back on now and be like, man, I'm glad I had that. I'm glad I did that. Yeah. Maybe I should have done this.
I think going back now, I think obviously I wouldn't change the thing that I did. To be honest with you, I obviously working with you in power skating was huge for me. Yeah. And I think listen to what other people have to say about your game, and I think listening to other people talk about that I need to work on my skating and that I was a bad skater really pushed me to want to be a better skater. Sure. So I mean, listen to what people have to say about you, and just strive on that. And don't take it as a knock. Take it as like, okay, I got to get better at it. Yeah. And I think that's exactly what I tried to do. And I think the biggest thing for me is not look too far ahead. Like when I was that age, I wanted to play in the OHL. Yeah. Or I wanted to go to college or whatever the kids want to do. And then you kind of look at the bigger picture and say, no, I can actually make the NHL. Yeah. So I think, taking it one step at a time, don't look too far ahead, and always find an edge. Always find a way to get better, because my dad explained it to me a long time ago. He heard it. I'm not sure. He might even made it up. Who knows? Yeah. He's a genius. He explained it as like a bottle. Like, you have all the kids down here that, at a young age, they're all pretty good. But then as soon as you get older, the bottleneck starts to close. Yeah. And, you need to find a way to reach the top, and you need to find a way to be that guy that everybody notices. Yeah. And it's, it stuck with me. You need to think outside the box to be better, to get to the next level. And I think, for him to keep pushing me that way, and even my mom keep pushing me that way. And I think it really helped me out for sure.
No, it's good. Going back really quick on when you said like power skating or skill stuff or things like that, would you agree that getting a good supporting group of people around you that you trust? So for instance, Mark Guy, obviously your mom, your dad, probably your grandfather, your family, right? Where if your grandfather said, man, Bo, you're getting fat, you'd be like, go check yourself out in the mirror, like shit, right? For sure. And then guys like like myself, like Mitch downstairs, like Trev, like these guys that genuinely, if you sign another 10-year deal, doesn't do anything for me. No. Right? Like, it doesn't matter to me. I genuinely want to see you do well, but having people around you that don't have vested interests. Like, I know certain people, are helping you with contracts, things like that, which is awesome, but you trust them. Yeah. If they tell you, no, this isn't a good deal, you're going to trust them. And I think that's one thing where young kids, not that they're going to have strength coaches and all this stuff, but just having people around them, and parents especially having people around them that they trust. Because there's so much bullshit out there that
for sure.
You get caught down these bad rabbit holes, and next thing you know, you're making wrong decisions everywhere.
No question. You have to surround yourself with people that you trust and people that you think are going to make you a better person, better player. For me, I think hanging around hockey people and hanging around people that I trust and know a lot about the game and that are smart people about the game, and that's all I wanted to really talk about was go to hockey games and talk about hockey. So I mean, and talk about how I was going to get better. And
Sure.
and again, like working with you and working with Mitch. You
Yeah.
know, I surround myself with people that are in great shape. You know,
Yeah.
that are their work ethics through the roof, and that want you to get better. They're not, you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying stuff to say it. You know, when they say something, you listen, right? So I think, again, that's a great point, is surround yourself with who you think is going to make you a better person, a better
Yeah.
player.
Oh, for sure. And then some fun ones. Who are some of the good leaders that you played with? Obviously, you probably already know two of them, but who are some guys that maybe on other teams too that you're like, man, that guy just like every day brings it, you know?
Yeah. I think Jonathan Taves, unbelievable
Yeah.
leader, unbelievable player, somebody who I respect a ton.
Yeah.
And there's so many. Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, for sure.
Phenomenal, obviously phenomenal player, really
Yeah.
good leader, leads by example. There's so many.
And
the
then in your
league, you know.
in your backyard, you had a chance to really experience guys like the Sedins, right? Who are,
exactly.
I mean,
I mean,
pretty much
like
every
you
day.
said, like Hank, I rave about them all the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
they helped me out in my career, you know, so much. Just the way how hard they work and
Yeah,
the way they handle the media and the fans and the organization and other players around the league and stuff like that. They're really well respected, tough.
for sure. Yeah,
Hank played with a broken. We were out to playoffs in, I don't know, February, and he played with a broken finger the rest of the year.
Really?
Just cause.
just to finish it out.
Exactly. So I mean,
Yeah,
they are tough guys, and you know I learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
In or on and off the ice. So again, being around that as a young
Yeah.
kid, it's, you know, it makes you want to, you know, leave. They left the jersey. They always want to leave the jersey better than when
yeah,
it was
yeah,
on.
yeah. That's huge.
And
Yeah,
they left it, you know,
yeah, way better than it was
way
before.
better than it was before.
Yeah.
So, to see that, it makes you want to be that much better.
That's a good model to live by,
Exactly.
for sure. And who's the hardest players that you play against in the NHL? So give me a couple guys that are real tough to play against, whether it's forward, D.
I think Victor Hedman's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Roman Josi is a very good player. Eric Carlson's obviously his speed and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and the way he moves in the blue line, tough for wingers
For sure, yeah.
to stop. Kessler is a bit of a prick out there.
Yeah.
Gives, gives it to you all the time.
Yeah.
Not so much like talking, but
He's relentless though, eh?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, Taves, his
Yeah.
work ethic, and Crosby, just pure skill and
Yeah.
work ethic and stuff like that. Malkin. I mean, the list goes on. There's so
For
many
sure,
great
man,
players.
yeah.
But those are just a few. But yeah, no, it's pretty tough to play against those guys.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, listen, buddy, I really appreciate your time. I know it's awesome anytime you can stop in. So thanks a lot and best
no
luck.
problem. Thanks.
Best luck next year, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Mike.